Hello, Sarah. Pardon? Well, they've got to come out at some point in the year, haven't they? And we can't wear them today. Right then, everyone. Let's just take a comfortable position to sit up so you're straight through your spine. And shuffle around a little. So just shuffle on your seats so that you can feel where you're not just rigidly planting yourself straight into the first position you land. Just explore your range and then let that exploration naturally start to feel where is most comfortable, where feels the least point of resistance to sit up. So there's a feeling of lightness within, just enough effort without making you feel hard or restricted. And then following your breath in and out through your nose. Breathe smoothly. Just feel your breath reaching into the spaces within your lungs that you might not be aware of. Remember, the lungs aren't just in the front of your chest, also explore into the back of your chest and the sides, their lowest point and their highest point. Feel a little unfolding inside your lungs that then has a ripple effect outside of your lungs into your chest, and your ribs expand. And it draws you into almost a gentleness within the moment. Feel that when you tune into a nice explorative breath where you're following it gently and you're connecting it with your body, your mind is floating along in and out with each breath. How it calms you into the moment. And then draw your palms together. We'll start with the sacred sound of Om that vibrates a universal consciousness and wakens that within us. Take a deep breath in. Drop your gaze down. Release your hands back onto your legs. Give your shoulders a little roll around. Backward circular movement. Let your shoulders fall back and down. Keep them slightly back. Let your right ear fall towards your right shoulder. Keep a heaviness down in the left upper arm. Feel the left side of your neck opening. And then just try dropping the right corner of your chin toward the right collarbone. Reverse the action so your ear goes back toward the shoulder. Your head comes up and over and across to the left side. So it's like your left ear becomes heavier and your right upper arm bone heavier. At the elbows dropping from the shoulder. Close your eyes and feel that space opening. Imagine it's a bit like your lungs. As you breathe into it, you're just letting your breath broaden and explore the space between the 2 points of your shoulder to your ear. Maybe dropping your right corner of your chin toward the right collarbone. Getting a bit of space into the back of your neck. And then your head reverses back to the side, up to center. Lovely. And then lean back with your hands behind you so you can just hover your legs in front. If you're on a block, you can stay on the blocks. Yeah, if you're on a block, stay on the block. Lovely. And then cross your right shin in front of your left shin and flex your feet. So when your legs land, your feet are flexed about in line with your knees. Great. Take your right hand around to your right foot. Turn your chest and gaze over your back shoulder. Use the left fingertips on the floor behind. I'm going to hold on to the edge of the foot. And even if you have to lean forward slightly. Now soften your ribs, your lower ribs in a little so the floating ribs drop slightly as you turn. So you feel you're almost in a cylinder, not arcing out of that cylinder. Come back to center, you lean back slightly. As this leg straightens out, straighten both legs out, switch your hand over. So left hand's gonna hold the outside edge of your leg, your ankles are crossed. And then just bow into toward the leg. Even if it's bent, that's fine. Release your right hand, so your right arm comes around behind, and see if you can float your arm off the floor. Okay, Beth, stay as you are, but you've started on the other side, so just remember that when we do the others. It's all right. Again, soften your floating ribs in, elevate and lengthen through your waistline. See if you can sit from the sharpness of your sit bones, tall in your spine. Look towards your back thumb like it's a target for your gaze. Now you're going to come back into center, keep this leg as it is. So those who are on a block, just shift forward to take that block out. Put it just to the side, and then cross your right ankle onto your left knee. As you come down onto your back, thread your hands around the back of your left leg. Draw your shoulders down. As you breathe now, try and spread the four corners of your back into the mat. So that's the back of your shoulders and the back of your hips. Like your lungs now are across the whole back of your body. And each breath is pinning the back of your body and spreading the back of your body down to the mat. Tuck the chin slightly so the back of your neck lengthens. And then take your left foot, keeping your legs as they are, take your left foot down to the right side of your mat. Left foot to the right side of your mat. Lovely, and then lower the legs to the left, so the sole of your right foot comes to the ground. Place one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Close your eyes. And then follow your breath. So you want to try and get the right knee so it's pressing away from your shoulders, away from your belly. And if you're not feeling much, then bring the left knee up higher. So your left knee shifts a bit further up. As you go deeper into that stretch, continuing to try and press the right knee away. Keeping the left buttock as close to the right buttock as close to the ground as you can. Try and sink the right hip to the floor, as if there's a little thread on the back of your right hip pulling it down. You were right, Sarah, and the hip will have lifted. You just want to feel it's trying to get back to the floor. And then come back up to center. Reposition your bottom to the middle of the mat. Squeeze both knees into your chest. Lift your nose towards your knees, curl up into a ball. Rock up, hover your legs, place your hands behind. Cross your left shin in front of your right shin. Yeah, and then as your feet go down, flexing the feet so they're about in line with your knees. Take your left hand round. See if you can catch the outside edge of your left foot as you twist round to the right. Make sure you're doing the opposite side to last time. So again, you soften your lower floating ribs in a little so that we're not looking for any back bend or any slouching. It's just a nice neutral line up through the sides of your body, like you're in a cylinder and you're turning within that cylinder. Inhale as you look forwards, holding onto your foot, straighten both legs out. And then take the right hand around and cross it to the other side of your foot. The knee can be bent and just bow in towards your leg. As you release your left hand, your left arm floats out behind. Now you can keep the knee bent. I want you to prioritize sitting tall. And if the leg does straighten out, then fine, but otherwise keep it bent. Keep lengthening up through the cylinder feeling of your spine, softness in the ribs, and you're pushing your left hip forwards toward the left foot. Your shoulders soften down as you turn your gaze towards your back thumb, even if it's more your eyes that have to turn. Okay, and then looking forwards, bring your hand to the floor, your foot to the floor, and if you need to come off a block, shift forwards, move the block to the side, and cross your ankle as you come down onto your back. Hands threading behind the back of your right leg as the left knee keeps pressing away from your shoulder. We're working on the spine in this series, but a lot of lower back tension comes when we've got tension in the hips, thighs, and hip flexors. So in order to release tension in the lower back, work on the hips and the pelvic area is important. Another breath there, spreading the four corners of your back down into the mat, feeling present on your mat. When you let go of your right leg, the right foot's going to go across toward the left side of your mat, and then lower your legs toward the right. And as your legs lower down, try and get the sole of your foot to touch the ground. One hand on your belly, one hand on your chest, and just feel the breath. Following your exhales, and as you exhale, trying to drop the back of your left hip, like there's a heavy anchor on the back of your left hip, drawing it toward the ground, the back left side of your pelvis sinking toward the ground. Each exhale, feeling like your thigh bone sinks into the hip joints. Your belly sinks towards your back. And if you're not getting much from this, your right knee comes up a little bit higher towards your right shoulder to deepen it, with the left knee pointing up toward the ceiling. And then come back into center. Bring both knees in, uncrossing, nose toward the knees. And then roll up, holding your legs as you roll, hover position. Everyone's off blocks, yes? Okay, so cross your right ankle in front of your left, bring your feet in as close as you can, and lower your knees wide. So this time we're crossed at the ankles. Make fists, put your fists behind you, and press forwards over your knees, open up your chest, look to the ceiling. So you're pushing from your fists down into your knees, trying to roll over the ankles. Lower your bottom down, come back to your hover position, and just recross. And then as you come down, knees go wide, again pressing forwards, opening up the front of the hips. If there's any issue in your neck, you just look forwards. Feel the front of your thighs reaching down into your knees. Lower your bottom down, and whichever cross you want to do, in fact, we won't cross, we'll just go flat feet down, and then coming forwards over your legs into a simple forward bend. Little bend in your knees if you like, hold on to opposite elbows. And take a gentle swing side to side, so you're pendulum swinging your spine. Opening up into the side of your waist and your lower back. So drop your hands down to the floor, come to hands and knees. Take 3 rounds of cat-cow. So your head and your bottom point up with an inhale, and then round your spine as high to the ceiling as you can as you exhale. A couple more like that, inhaling and exhaling. Feel how your lungs are affected through the movement. The space in your lungs at the front of your chest as you inhale, space in your lungs at the back of your chest as you exhale. And then a flat back. Bring your hands together so your thumbs line with your chest. Walk your hands toward the right side of the mat, keeping your thumbs by each other. Yeah, and try just drawing the left hip slightly back away from your left waist. Reach your left arm as far up the side of the mat as you can, and then sit back into a side child's pose, resting your head on your right hand as the left arm keeps reaching up the side of the mat. Sit as far back as you can with your hands kind of stuck to the mat, so you get a real nice lengthening down your left side. Bottom as far into the heels as you can go. Steve, take your left hand across to the right side of your mat. Sit. Another breath there, exploring the left lung. Coming back up, thumbs meet, Walk your hands and chest follows over to the left side. So your hands are below your chest. Right arm reaches up the side of your mat. Yeah, reach long through your right arm and then sink your hips back, particularly trying to pull the right hip back as your head lands on your left hand. Your right arm remains long up the side of the mat. And then breathe. Where is resisting in your body there? Is it in your lower back? Is it in the ribs? Is it in the shoulder or your arm? See where you might be holding tension. Breathe. The mechanism to help release. And then coming back up to hands and knees, taking your hands in front for downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here, let your head hang loosely. Feel your thigh bones pressing back in your legs. And we're going to keep the feet hip distance as you walk your hands back towards your feet. Sink down into your hips. And take Utkatasana, your arms reaching in front of you initially. As your arms reach forwards, feel your hips draw back, weight into your heels. Spread out your toes and broaden them on the mat. Take your right hand to your right hip, cross your left forearm over both thighs and turn your chest to the right. Rolling your right shoulder back and bringing the lower floating ribs in slightly as you twist a bit deeper. Nice, come through the center and then take the left hand to your left hip and your right forearm across the legs. So your forearm is touching both legs, yeah? And that's going to help you to sense if your thighs are staying in line with each other. And as you twist, watch out for the ribs popping out. See if you can soften your front floating ribs in and twist a little deeper from the belly, rolling over the left shoulder. Inhale, push your legs straight, lift your arms all the way up. Catch hold of your right wrist, cross your right leg in front and press your hips to the right, lean over to the left. You should teach and then the opposite doesn't matter. And then come back up as you inhale. Cross your left leg as you catch your left wrist, press the hips over to the left. Broaden down the outside of your body, taking your spine into a lovely lateral extension. Inhale as you bring your feet together so the inner ankles, inner knees touch. Exhale, hands into a prayer position, back into Utkatasana. A deeper option this time, taking your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh, pressing your right palm into your left palm as you turn your chest. Keep the inner knees aligned. If that's too deep for you, go to the forearm across the legs instead. See if you can roll your shoulders away from your ears and twist with the chest coming more in line with your thumbs, so the chest comes further away from the legs and more in line with the thumbs. Just inhaling next through center and exhaling to the right elbow to left thigh, left palm pressing into the right palm as you twist. Observe what's happening with the ribs. Weight in both heels, the toes spreading to help you balance. A nice inner line from the crown of your head to the tailbone of your spine is long. And on an inhale, lift your arms all the way up into standing, look up. As you exhale, fold forwards, hands down to the floor, or around the back of your lower legs. Inhale to a flat back position, hands can be on shins or on the floor. And then walk your hands forwards, come down onto hands and knees. And then we're going to just do a couple of swings of your hips side to side, just get the feeling of your hips swinging left, hips swinging right, tailbone swinging left, tailbone swinging right. Nice, and then thread your right arm all the way under so you land on your right shoulder and ear. Look under the window of your left arm, so come onto the left fingertips, get your left elbow nice and high. See if you can twist a bit further under with your right shoulder, looking up towards your left elbow, and you can either keep your left hand there to support you, swinging your hips slightly rightwards, and bring your hand around to catch hold of your right hip or your right thigh. Your eyes can continue to roll and look over the left shoulder. If this is uncomfortable in your neck, then you release the hand from the bind and you bring your hand back to the floor to support you. Inhale as you bring your hand back to the floor. Exhale as you push up to hands and knees. Left arm threads all the way under. Come onto the right fingertips. Thread a little further under with your shoulder. Looking to your right elbow and swinging your hips toward the left slightly, so tailbone pulling leftwards. Again, you can bring your hand around and rest it on your left hip or catch hold of your inner left thigh. If you've gone for the bind, your hand, as it catches hold of the left thigh, can pull your left thigh slightly leftwards. If your hips were to be swinging in one direction now, it should feel slightly leftwards. Be in tune with the flow of your breath and how it's present in every pose. Then inhale, hand back to the floor. Exhale, press up to hands and knees, toes tuck under, roll over the balls of your feet, downward dog. Pressing nice and high through the sit bones. And then walking your feet up to the top of your mat. Feet at hip distance, inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold over your legs. Arms swoop all the way up, look up. Hands to prayer at the center of your chest. Firm your legs and firm your belly. Root through your feet as you inhale, lift your arms up, gaze up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, a flat back. Exhale, step your right leg back and lower your knee to the floor. Inhale, Anjaneyasana, arms float up, gaze up. And then exhale, hands to a prayer position at the center of your chest, look forwards. You can either cross your forearm over for a lighter option, that would be right forearm on the leg and left hand on the left hip. Other way, Sarah. Or you can take your elbow down and make a deeper prayer twist. Sinking forwards with your hips as you press against the left thigh to twist. Observe your ribs, your shoulders, and the chest being equal between the elbows. You can go deeper, tucking your back toes under and trying to push that back leg straighter. You might then get a little bit more space to twist a bit deeper. If you've lifted that back knee off the ground, then you don't need to sink quite as low. Feel a little bit more buoyant in your hips. It gives you some more space to twist. One more breath there. Inhale, hands come down to the floor. Exhale, drop your right knee down to the floor and come up to a high kneeling position on your right knee only. The left leg is going to go out to the left side. Take your left hand down on the left leg, toes point forward. Inhale, lift your right arm and feel your right knee sinking down, side bend over towards the left leg. And then from here, just turning your chin towards the right armpit. And let your eyes run up the inside of your arm. You don't need to let your head fall too far back. Exercise your eyes. Keep strong and firm in your left leg as you broaden and lengthen through the right side. Let your breath spread from the knee on the floor right to the fingers reaching up. Inhale as you come up, look forward. Exhale, knees come together. We're taking the right leg out, inhale. Exhale, hand on leg. Inhale, lift your left arm up. Press down into your left knee and then side bend over. Whoops, my foot fell off the back of the thing. Okay, as you come over again, you can turn your chin towards your armpit and roll your eyes up. You feel that outer left hip pressing downwards into the knee, but also spreading upwards through the reach of the side body. Through your elbow, through your wrist, through your fingers. Inhale as you come back up, look forwards. Exhale, knees come to hip distance apart. Bring your hands behind you, so your hands are touching your buttocks. Roll your elbows back, and then firmly press down through both hips, down into both knees. That's coming from your core as well. And then just let your hands slide down. Keep your gaze forwards, aiming to get your fingertips toward the back of your knees, even if you don't get all the way down there. Keep your belly firm, keep your gaze in front. Nice, and then inhale as you come back up. Exhale, hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Gaze through the gap of your legs and broaden your outer armpits. Stay firm in your left leg. Your right leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, step your right foot forwards. Warrior one, taking your back foot to about 1 o'clock. And swooping your arms up. As you come up, feel the left arm kind of brings the left hip forward slightly as it lifts. Lift your gaze and stay bent in your front knee. Feel an opening in the left calf or ankle area. Your outer left hip spreading down to the outside of the left foot, but also spreading up into the reach of your left arm. Bring your hands to prayer position, lift the back heel. So we're going to try and do what we did sitting. That is to bring both hands onto the foot first of all. So step forward and tap your toes lightly to the floor. And crossing your wrists over with the right wrist on top of the left wrist. Hug your belly in. Lift your foot and catch hold like little clippers, holding onto the outside edges of the foot. And see if you can lift your knee up towards your chest and pull your arm bones back. If you can then straighten your leg out more there, straighten your leg out more. I've given you the wrong arm on top. I knew that when I was saying 50-50 chance. I thought, oh. The left arm's going to release out behind and turn around into a twist to the left, even if your knee is still bent. Feel your right thigh bone pressing back more firmly to stand stronger in your right leg. Soften your lower ribs in. So any little movements you make are delicate, mindful, steady. You come back to center, keep your balance. Crossing your left ankle onto your right thigh, sitting back to a chair pose, reach your arms in front. Till your sit bones reach back and up slightly, your chest and your arms reach forwards. Find something steady to gaze on. Try not to let anyone else's pose or wobbles or recalibration affect you. Be in your own zone. Lift your arms, inhale, crossing your left leg in front of your right leg, and then exhale, bow forwards over the legs, keeping your left leg crossed in front of your right. Walking your hands around to the left side. Use your fingertips on the floor or on a couple of blocks if you can't touch the ground easily. Broadening your right lung, your right hip. Relax your head. And then just walk them around to the other side. Feet are kind of looking like a little bit parallel with each other if you can, even if one's slightly further forward than the other. Left hip is pulling back as your left ribs work their way further round. That's it, left hip pulling back. It looked like you were doing the right one, I don't know. And then back into center, inhale. And then exhale, step back to plank position, back leg first, and then the second leg follows. Look at the front of your mat, inhale. Exhale, bend your arms away all the way down. Inhale with a cobra, lift your chest. Exhale, lower your ribs down, lift your legs, and take your arms out wide for locust pose. Lift the back of your arms toward the ceiling. Lengthen out through your legs so your thigh bones lift and they follow all the way down your legs toward the point of your toes. Hug your belly towards your spine. Last inhale. Exhale, hands and toes back to the floor. Push as if you're going towards child's pose, little back stretch. And downward facing dog. Drawing up evenly through both thighs, pressing evenly back through both hips. Now we take the right leg up in the air as we inhale. Step your right foot forwards, follow with the left leg, inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, swoop your arms all the way up, look up. Exhale, hands to a prayer position. Firm your legs, root all the way down through your feet. Inhale, lift, gaze, lift. Exhale, bow. You can take hands to floor or round the back of your legs. Inhale, flat back, sending your chest forwards, lengthening through the sides of your waist. Then step your left leg back this time and lower your left knee to the floor. Anjaneyasana, inhale, lifting your arms. Exhale, hands to a prayer position, take your gaze forwards. So option here to just cross your left forearm onto the right thigh with your hand on your hip, or take your elbow around and make a prayer position for a deeper twist. Find your balance, find some stability in that front foot as you play with the option of tucking your back toes and straightening your back knee off the ground. And again, if you've lifted that back leg, try not to let the knee be halfway on the mat, halfway off the mat. You either are down with the knee or up with the knee. And if the knee is lifted, lift your hip slightly higher and get more power through that back leg. Squeeze your right hip in slightly. As you squeeze your right hip in slightly, the ribs draw in more and twist a bit deeper. Last inhale. Exhale, both hands to the floor, lowering your back knee down. And as you come up to balancing on your left knee, right leg out to the side. This time we're going to turn the toes outwards for a Parigasana. Lovely, toes pointing away. Draw the knee up the center of your thigh, engaging in that leg. Even if the toes lift slightly. Palm upwards on your leg. Turn your chest forwards. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, side bend over. Good. Feel there's an inward draw of your belly to support your back. A downward point of the tailbone. Your gaze can turn chin toward the armpit and eyes rolling up the inner arm. Continue to engage your right leg so the knee is pulling up the leg rather than sinking or sliding down your leg. On your next inhale, come up. Exhale, knees come in. Inhale, left leg out. Exhale, palm up on your leg. And again, just feel that knee is tracking up the center of your leg. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, side bend. Try not to lose the awareness in your right side. From the ground into the opening of your limbs, the movement of your spine, your awareness travels. And then with the next inhale, coming up. Exhale, knees come to hip distance. We're taking a fuller Ustrasana, camel pose this time, so you can have toes tucked, or you can have feet flat for the full deep version, or you can repeat what we did before with the hands down the back of your legs. So hands come behind onto the pelvis first, elbows draw back, inhale, lift your chest, and then hide that hands sliding down the legs, or hands coming to your heels. And then those who are going into the deeper version, you just let your head follow, taking your head so that it goes to a comfortable place within the scope of your back bend. The hips are opening and lifting as your knees drive themselves down into the mat. With an inhale, lift your chest up, lift your gaze up. Exhale down onto hands and knees. Tuck your toes and roll up into downward facing dog. Gaze through the gap of your legs. Nice, breathe so that your breath presses your hands forwards and presses the hips back. As your hands press forward and your hips press back, feel your spine get longer. Well, have you got any hamstring things going on? You did have though, didn't you? Or was it just your shoulder? Just your shoulder. Oh. Take another breath there. And on your next inhale, left leg lift. Exhale, left foot steps forwards, right foot for warrior one, so it turns to about 1 or 2 o'clock. And lift up, inhale. Exhale, be conscious of both legs actively positioning, but but then rolling up into the pelvis. So as your legs engage down, they also then pull back up into the pelvis. So you get this feeling of grounding and upward rising within you as well. So press the thigh bone to put these off. As the outer right heel rolls down, you feel a nice stretch into the lower leg. Bend a little deeper, go a little deeper. That's it, yeah. Inhale, hands to prayer position. Exhale, lift your back heel off the ground. Step your right toes forwards, pause. Okay, so this time right wrist will be on top. Hug your belly in, cross your right wrist on top, as both hands take hold of your right foot. Lift your chest, stand tall. You could stay there, or you can start to lift your foot, maybe straightening your leg, bowing towards your leg as it straightens out as an option. Lifting your chest upright, take your right arm round behind, keep your left standing leg firm. Any little wobbles, reach for the nearest wall. Any little wobbles are fine, recalibrate, find center. Reach through your spine. We try to maintain the balance. As you come back to center, cross your right ankle onto your left thigh, sit back, reach forwards with your arms, sit back with your hips. Sit bones reach back and also tilt slightly upwards. Think of your two sit bones trying to tilt upwards slightly, so your pubic bone drops down. Inhale, lift your arms up, cross your right leg in front of your left leg. Exhale, bow forwards with your hands coming down to the floor. Your hamstrings are right with this, are they? Yeah? And then walk your hands around to the right first of all. So as you walk your hands around to the right, the left hip slightly pressing back. And broadening into the left lung, left outer shoulder. Walking the hands around the other way. Hands can be on blocks, so you give yourself a little arm extension with the blocks if it's needed. And then inhale back to center. Step the back leg back to plank first, and then the other leg follows. Inhale in plank, lower ribs hugging in. Exhale, bend your arms and go all the way down. Inhale, cobra, feet point. Exhale, locust, lifting your legs, taking your arms out. Back of your arms, back of your hands lifting toward the ceiling, back of your thigh bones lifting. Now hug in your belly and make your legs longer. Neutralize your neck so it continues from the upward lift of your spine, wherever that might be. One more inhale. Exhale, toes and hands to the floor. Keep your knees off the ground if you can. Push towards plank pose this time, a child's pose if you need to, and then downward facing dog. All fingers spread wide. The breath spreading from your hands. Imagining two hands on your lower back as your hands press forward on the mat. The imaginary hands on your lower back, pressing your lower back back. Take your left leg in the air as you inhale. Step forwards, exhale, right foot follows. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, swoop your arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer position. Good. Soften down into your knees. Swoop the left leg out behind. Take your arms wide. And then take the locust pose you did lying on your tummy, now standing on your right leg. So it's a variation of warrior 3. Lift the back of your left thigh up. Press the back of your arms up. Open your chest. The hint of a back bend. Inhale, step your feet together, hands to prayer. Exhale, soften into your knees. Slip the right leg back this time as your arms open. The back of your right thigh lifting toward the ceiling. Confidently extending out through your back leg. Feel like you have the strength or the power beneath you, as if you were flying through the sky like an aeroplane. And then inhale, hands come to prayer, feet come back together. Exhale, toes turn out, soften into your knees and go down either with your elbows on the top of your thighs or a bit lower if you can get elbows inside the inner knees, inner thighs. Skipping that one, are you, Beth? Okay, that is where we're going. Funnily enough. If your bottom can land on the ground without much of a thump, then go from here and just gently lower your bottom down. Otherwise, if your hands come round, it's not too much. If your hands come round behind and you can help yourself land, take a softer landing. Okay, cross your right ankle in front of your left ankle. Right ankle, so not shins, just ankles. That's it. Great stuff. And then lean back into your elbows and gather your elbows in quite narrow. Feet across, close to your hips as you can. And puff your chest up, keep your chin in. So stage 1 of Matsyasana, which is fish pose, is just to stay here. Yeah, and if the neck starts to strain, you just hold for what's a comfortable length of time and then come back up to sitting. And watch first, if you're going into a deeper fish pose, your hands go further towards your bottom, and then as your head goes back, you let your bottom slide over your hands, your legs kind of slide up the mat with you until your head gets to the ground. Okay, otherwise stay where you are. So your hands go further down towards your bottom. You slide back in an arc, still puffing your chest up until your head reaches the ground, and your bottom will be further up your hands now, or maybe on your wrists. Keep pressing through your elbows, into your bottom, into your head, so all points of contact are helping you are. From that position, shift so that you're tucking the chin and you lay down onto your back. Bring your knees the opposite way, so your knees come together and your feet go wide. Rest your hands on your belly, pause. Okay, we'll try the second side from this position. Left ankle crosses in front of right ankle, this time knees wide. Shuffle, so you start to push your elbows in narrower, chest starts to puff up. Tuck your hands underneath your bottom, you might even touch your feet, and then puff your chest up and bring the top of your head to the floor. Pushing down into your elbows. So, Larissa, are you happy with that? Is that okay on your neck? Yeah, okay. I was just going to say you could always do just that. But if you're all right as you are, that's fine. Take a couple more breaths, making an arc of your spine as the ribs float up. This time we do want the floating ribs to expand. You push a bit more into your elbows so your chin can tuck and wriggle your way back down. Bring your knees together, your feet apart. Tuck your tailbone long. Release your arms. I like to just rest my hands on my belly, and then it gives this feeling of the abdomen falling into the lower back, the space of the pelvis. And then gather your knees in. Wrap your arms as far around your legs as you can. Keep your head and your pelvis as close to the ground as you can. Aiming to lengthen your spine into a neutral alignment with your legs squeezing in. Now lifting your head towards your knees, hands around the back of your legs. Use your legs to hold on to if you roll up, hover. See if you can find the hover position. Nice, take the hold of the outside edges of your feet. Keep lifting your chest, tummy towards your thighs. If you lift your feet in front, keep pulling on the feet so your arm bones draw back. See if you can balance. You can stay here, especially if your lower back is sensitive. Otherwise, straighten your legs out, keep your spine long. You can stay here, or you can bend the elbows wide and draw yourself in closer to the legs, maintaining the balance on the back of your sit bones. Try flexing your toes towards you. Find your balance point coupled with the flexibility you have in the legs. Bend your legs again, hover, and then take your feet down to the floor. Okay. Oh, all right, having fun. Playtime. Okay, so we'll try either repeat another one of those or taking plow pose. So the legs go over behind, wriggling the elbows in narrow, and we'll extend the arms with the fingers interlace. Anyone who wants to take a shoulder stand for half of that time will hold it for a minute. So you could take shoulder stand for, let's say, 5 breaths and then come back down to plow, so you get a little inversion. We'll hold it for a minute in total. If you're not taking it, then 5 breaths exactly as you just did, and then 5 breaths just with your legs in the air. Roll over to plow pose first. Wriggle your elbows in. Extend your arms and interlace your fingers, straightening your knees away from your face. Yeah, those who are going to take shoulder stand at any point, you go ahead with that and take 5 breaths or so when you're ready to. Can I take hold of your ankles? And then as I hold, bring the right elbow in a little more. That's it. Okay. And then lower back towards plow pose if you're still in shoulder stand. And then as you roll down, can you roll down into fish pose, rolling down slowly into fish pose, or come into it from a different direction if you weren't doing shoulder stands? So your legs come down, your elbows, feet go on the floor, puff your chest up. You don't have to go the cross legs unless you want to. Puff your chest up, and then either crossing your legs or straightening your legs down the mat. Bottom just resting in between the wrists or the thumbs. You want to practice going a bit deeper into fish pose. Knees come together. Hover your toes off the floor. Free your hands from underneath your bottom and point your fingertips in the direction of your belly button, so they're above your belly button, I should say. Then try straightening your legs out as an added extra, so your arms and your legs are parallel to one another. Do not try and turn your head to see me. If you're not sure, then leave that bit out. Bring your feet back to the floor, hover your toes, and then land with your feet, land with your arms. Release your head carefully. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Keep your head and bottom down. Flatten your back to the floor. At the moment, we're not aiming to lift your bottom off the ground, rather to lengthen the tailbone away, to broaden the 4 corners of your back. Lift your head towards your knees. Cross your right shin in front of your left shin, right shin in front of left. Hold the back of your legs, roll up with your right shin crossed in front. Wiggle your feet so they're in line with your knees. You can stay like that. If you're very open in your hips, right shin stacks on top of the left with your foot resting on the outside of your left knee. And then twisting toward the right, this time placing your left hand on the right knee, gaze over your back shoulder. Soften your lower ribs in. Have a hint of a smile on your eyes, on your mouth, on your heart. Inhale as you look forwards. Exhale, hands out to the side. Bow forwards towards your legs. Arms can walk a bit further forwards or lower your elbows to the ground in front. If your hands or your elbows land on the floor, almost feel like you're dragging the floor back a little to help drag the waistline forwards, the heart forwards, the shoulders back. Be aware of any sensitivity in your knees and not overdoing it. And then inhale as you come back up. Lean back to hover, undo the legs, cross left in front. And then as you lower, flexing your feet, get onto the edges of your feet. And again, you can wriggle your legs a little bit, or you can take that left and stack it on top of the right. Just being careful of the knee again, putting a block in there if you need to. Sitting tall, right hand to left knee. Lower ribs nice and gentle as you turn. And then breathe a smile of a breath into the center of your chest so that you're sure that the breastbone can broaden. Let that smile travel up to your lips, into your eyes, into the crown of your head. Inhale as you look forwards. Exhale, spread your hands. Bow at the hips, anchoring your hips back and down, and walking your hands forwards to the appropriate place for you. If you want blocks for your forearms to go on, take blocks there. Wherever your arms land, it's a little bit like you're trying to pull the ground back slightly in order for your torso to travel forwards, bringing space into your hips. Breathe into that space. Then on an inhale, make your way up. Exhale, lean back a little just to uncross your legs. Straighten your legs out, lift tall. Wriggle yourself. And then either coming to cross-leg position, a kneeling position, whatever's comfortable for you. And bring your legs back in. Bring your hands together. We'll chant and then go into Shavasana. Snuggle yourself again, shuffling if you need to, so you can sit comfortably tall in your spine. As your palms meet at the heart, shoulders relax down, neck nice and easy. Mantras that we chant in yoga are like sacred sounds that hold a particular frequency for transformation, particular vibration that pulses through the chant, pulses through its meaning. So when we chant it, in a sense, we're the carrier of that meaning, we're the carrier of that intention. Feel it vibrate in the cells of your body and into the universal body which you're part of. Chanting Om, cosmic consciousness, Shanti, peace, let peace spread, peace, peace. Take a deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. your posture, just taking yourself slowly into Shavasana. Relax completely. Let the healing energies that resonate deeply within you start to ignite their magic within. Let healing energy spread, filling the space within and around you. wiggle around on the spot. If you're ready, legs bend in, turning to your side and pausing. Coming up from your side, so there's very little twist in your back as you push up, using your arms. Your palms together. You all so much. Hope you feel elevated after your practice. Namaste. Thank you. See you next week. It's the start of a new block next week, so I'll send an email out this week. If you know you can't